Hello, dear colleagues. My name is Al Muhammad, and today we have an acute symptomatic occlusion of the left PCA on the basis of unknown high-grade stenosis, which we've treated with a thrombectomy, PTA, and stenting. It was a male patient, 62 years old, heavy smoker with arteriosclerosis and arterial hypertension. He came with hemiparesis, hemihypesthesia, and hemianopsia to the right side. In total, 8 points on NIHSS score. And the patient came 1.5 months ago with a short-time TIA, and in the CT angiogram, we've seen a high-grade stenosis of the left PCA in the distal P1 segment marked with the red arrow. At that point, we didn't treat the patient because he had no symptoms after the TIA. But after 1.5 months, the patient came with a symptomatic occlusion of the left PCA. In the CT scan, we've seen only small infarction areas, but in the CT perfusion, in the time to drain, we've seen a huge perfusion deficit in the territory of the left PCA. After treatment, we don't see any complications or big infarctions in the CT scan, and in the CT angiogram, we see a complete recanalization of the occlusion. On the left side, we have the list of the materials and devices that we've used. We've used here an HPC-coated microstent Pegasus 3.5 by 30 millimeters, and on the right side, we have the protocol of the dual antiplatelet therapy, and in the picture we can see the occlusion and the result of the recanalization, and the patient woke up without hemiparesis or hemihypesthesia, and 6 hours post-interventionally he was completely symptom-free. And here we go. We puncture the right radial artery, and now we insert the 6F short radial sheath, which we will use as an entry point to insert our catheters. And now we take our guiding catheter benchmark with the Sophia 5F aspiration catheter and insert them in the short radial sheath. And now we need a roadmap to see the way. At first, we need to adjust the right vertebral artery, and now we can perform the roadmap. And now we take the guiding wire, stiff, and with the help of this guiding wire, we can navigate the right vertebral artery, and now we can push the Sophia catheter and then the benchmark, our guiding catheter. The benchmark is a very soft guiding catheter which we can bring distally, but at first we bring the Sophia catheter distally and then we can use it to help to bring the benchmark distally. And now we remove the stiff pteromo wire, and now we adjust the intracranial vessels, and now we perform a 2D angiogram to see the occlusion. And as you can see, there is a P1 occlusion of the left PCA. And now we push the aspiration catheter Sophia 5F to the tip of the basilar artery and take the microcatheter Phenom 21 and the microwire synchro support Select 14. Insert it in the microcatheter, bring the torquer behind, and shape the tip of the microwire. And now we can push them both into the aspiration catheter and try to navigate the left PCA. We know it is a stenosis that has got occluded, so we should be careful. As you can see, it's a little bit hard to go through the stenosis. And now we can refresh our roadmap to see the occlusion. And now we know it's a little bit downwards, and the microwire finds its way through the stenosis, but we should still very, very careful. And now we have passed through the stenosis, and now we can push the microcatheter. And now we take our stent retriever, preset light 3x20, insert it in the microcatheter, and now we can push it distally to the occlusion. And now we start unsheathing the stent retriever and remove the microcatheter completely and bring the aspiration catheter to the occlusion to use it as a support because we know it's a stenosis and we don't want to pull back the vessel tree, and we support the occlusion with the aspiration catheter and pull the stent retriever into the aspiration catheter under aspiration with the pump. And now we can remove them both outside. And now we perform a 2D angiogram to see the result. And as you can see, it's recanalized, but we still have a high-grade stenosis, which will get occluded according to our experience. We perform a 3D angiogram to see the stenosis and to adjust our working position. And as you can see, it's a high-grade stenosis of the left PCA over a long segment, P1 to P2 segment of the left PCA. And now, as you can see, after taking our working position, the stenosis got occluded. But according to the 3D angiogram, we know how we can navigate through the stenosis. We take our PTA balloon catheter, neurospeed 1.5/8, and insert the microwire into the balloon catheter. And now we remove the air in the balloon with a contrast agent. We attach the syringe to the hub of the balloon and pull it back and knock on the syringe many times to get the lift bubbles out of the balloon. And now we take the balloon catheter with the microwire and insert them in the aspiration catheter Sophia 5F. And now we can navigate the left PCA. It's a little bit easier than the first time because we've performed the thrombectomy. And now we can push the balloon catheter to the distal segments of the PCA. And now we perform a 2D angiogram through the balloon catheter to make sure that we are in the vessel. And as you can see, we are in the vessel, so we can start the PTA. It's a long stenosis, that's why we will perform many PTAs overlapped while we retracting the balloon. This is the second PTA, and now the third PTA. The balloon slips a little bit, that's why we pull it back and repeat the PTA. There is a little bit air in the balloon, but this is not a problem as long as it blibes in the balloon. And this is the fourth PTA. We go to 6 bar in each PTA. And now we perform a 2D angiogram to see the results. We still see a stenosis in the distal P2 segment. And that's why we will take the microwire and navigate to this segment. We take the lower branch because it's straightforward. And now we push the balloon catheter distally, and we need to perform the PTA immediately before the bifurcation. And this time we go only to 4 bar, not more than this. We don't want to exaggerate here in this small segment. The second one overlapped with the first one with 4 bar maximally. And now we pull back the balloon catheter and perform a 2D angiogram again to see the results. And now we can implant our stent. We take at first the microwire and use it to navigate to the distal P2 segment, and we push the balloon catheter through which we will implant our microstent. We take the microstent and insert it into the balloon catheter, and the stent is marked with red, and green is the tip of the stent pusher, and we want to implant the stent immediately proximally to the bifurcation through pulling back the microcatheter, which is in this case the balloon catheter. And now we have implanted the stent completely, and now we can remove the PTA balloon with the stent pusher completely and pull back the aspiration catheter and perform a 2D angiogram. As you can see, a complete recanalization of the stenosis and the occlusion, and we don't have any relevant stenosis. And now we adjust an overview to see our results and to exclude complications and perform a 2D angiogram. And as you can see, there is no occlusion. The results are very good, and we have no extravasations. And now we need some 2D angiograms along the right vertebral artery to exclude complications. And as you can see, there's no dissections or stenosis. And we go a little bit proximally and repeat our 2D angiograms. And now we have the origin of the right vertebral artery, and there is no stenosis. So we've reached the end of our intervention. As always, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. You can contact us per email too. Email addresses and further contact options are in the video description below. Thanks for watching. That was Al Muhammad. See you next time. Peace out.